Today, we're gonna do something a little bit different, guys. I'm gonna take a look at a request that came in from Dan Sanchez on Facebook. Dan Sanchez, his request is, good morning. We hope you had a wonderful weekend. Whenever you get a chance, if you could do a brief tutorial on your Garmin GPS on one of your skis. Anyway, we're out here. Let's get into the video. The unit that we actually purchased is the Garmin 44CV. V as in Victor. We've had this now for, I want to say, over 3 years. It's been flawless. A couple things that I do want to point out is these connectors in the back here. You always want to make sure that they're as secure as possible. Also, I always keep dielectric grease on the terminals. We did have an incident where I wasn't being too careful and water was getting into the terminal and the terminal's corroded. But we did replace it and the unit's been great since. Actually, shout out to Garmin Marine. Garmin Marine actually sent us some replacement cables and we were off to the races. The other thing also that I do want to take an opportunity to point out is that when we did buy this unit, we also purchased separately a through-hull transducer. So the transducer that comes with this unit from Garmin is actually a transducer that sits on the outside of the vessel. So clearly we didn't want that. We wanted to have it inside the hull, even though I am 100% positive that the ones that sit outside on the water are far more accurate. We didn't want to go through the trouble of having to drill holes through the ski. We didn't want to do any of that. So we thought for our use case that the through-hull transducer would be better. The other thing that I want to point out is the fish finder option does work through the hull. It's not as accurate as it would be obviously outside of the vessel. The depth finder also works. It's off by about 1/2 foot or so, and we've tested that. And then last but not least, which is the real reason why we use the unit, it's for the GPS functionality. And I will say that you don't even need a transducer, honestly, for the GPS to work. So yes, you can technically buy this unit and just use the GPS functions without having to do anything else. So in terms of mounting, as you guys can see, we just went ahead and we screwed down the original base that came with the Garmin into the ski. It does appear that it's a little bit in the way here, but we don't have any issues reading our speedometer, our fuel gauge, etc. So you can still get to it. Also, super important when you're not running the unit. One of the things that you want to make sure you do also is make sure that you are covering these connectors or these plugs here so that you don't get any water intrusion, etc. on there. But when we do transport, we typically do transport without the Garmin mounted. And then when we get to our destination, that's typically when we will go ahead and we will clip this in. And it's super easy, as you can see. Boom, it's in. One of the other things that I wanted to point out is kind of how I wired this unit in terms of the power wires. So as you can see, one of the things that I did was I went on Amazon and I bought another one of these connectors. So I am actually using the same connection that we are using for the battery tender. So whenever we're ready to ride and we want to use the Garmin, all we do is we simply unplug the tender from here. There's a little safety cap, and I'm trying to do this one-handed, so apologies here. And basically what I do is, after that's done, we're going to go ahead. As you can see, this is going to be going to the Garmin. This is going back to the battery where the tender was right here. So I'm just going to move the camera away for a minute and just plug that in by hand. So as you can see, now our tender is removed. Our Garmin unit has been plugged in. I could have easily just hardwired it straight to the battery, but I don't know. I just wanted to have less things going into the battery. It just makes it easier to troubleshoot things in the future. Plus I thought it would just be a cleaner install overall. So now that that's plugged in, we're going to go ahead, we're going to power the unit, and I'm going to show you guys some of the basic functions that we use on this GPS. Our main reason why we purchased this unit was literally for the GPS functionality. Even though the depth finder and obviously the the fish finder, I guess those are added bonuses. Quite honestly, we are not big into fishing, but still pretty freaking awesome to just have out there and just turn on. If anything, it just gives you one more thing to look at. So again, this is not a touchscreen. This is the 44CV. So everything has to be done via these buttons here. So first things first, we'll hit agree. And these are some of the different menus and some of the different options that you have. There's charts, so you can take a look at like navigation charts. As you can see, there's a fishing chart and a navigation chart. So if you click over to the navigation chart, it's remembering the last time I was out on the water. So again, because we are in the garage, the GPS is having a hard time, I guess, getting a signal where we're at. So it's literally remembering the boat ramp and the last time we used it. If these units were outside, clearly you would have an image or a background of our neighborhood. Also on the top right, as you can see here, you're going to always see your depth. This is the direction that you're going to be heading. And there is a speed also that's GPS based. So even if you feel like this is obstructing some of the visuals from the factory dash, you can still visualize your speed up here. The cool thing I like about this GPS unit also is, as you can see here, we'll move a little bit down. It also stores and keeps track of anywhere you've rode or visited. So as you can see, there's the intercoastal waterways. And as you can see here, I mean, it's literally has a trace of the location where I was riding or I'm currently riding. So I like to use this feature because basically, depending on the area that I'm riding, if I'm riding in a new area that I'm not familiar with, literally I could just follow these little dots back and they will guide me to my last location. As you guys can see here, this was actually during I want to say this was Boca Grande Sandbar, because we are now in Charlotte County and there's the intercoastal waterways. But again, really, really cool. So this is actually the unit. Or I should say, this is actually the screen that we use the most, is this little mapping option. So again, you can find that under navigation charts, but there's also some fishing charts as well that you can also use. And yeah, I was right. Look, as you can see, we were in Englewood the last time we rode. So pretty cool to see that. The other thing also that I want to do is, look, it looks like the GPS is slowly starting to find a signal. There's one bar at the top here. So literally, if this unit was outside, you will see that these little bars here, just like a cell phone, would be all the way up. So you have the proper GPS signal. The other charts that you have is your sonar. Like this is literally like where you will find your, your fish finder, etc. So again, we are in my garage, so there is nothing underneath and the skis on the trailer, so it looks a little funky, but that functionality does work with the through-hull transducer. What else do we use? Other things that we frequently use, so I like this screen here, the frequently used options, because this literally shows you what we use the most. And again, like I mentioned earlier, to no surprise, yes, the navigation chart is what we use the most frequent. Here's some other combos that you can use. So you can actually have your navigation chart, plus you can also have your fish finder displayed all on one section. So you can just down arrow here, click here, and as you can see, there's your map. And here's your fish finder. Oh, wow, look, it looks like the GPS has finally found my location. So it does appear now that even though we are in the garage, it has recognized our home. So as you can see, I'm going to zoom out here, but you could see there's the Gulf of Mexico, Longboat Key, and we are at home right now. So that's cool. Didn't think it would work inside the garage, just took a little longer. Other things that I wanted to point out, there is a man overboard feature. You're able to see where the marking was, where that person went overboard, and you can literally go back and save them. The other thing that I wanted to point out is settings. So what you want to do is under settings, if you do choose to buy a transducer that is through Hall, so not the standard transducer that comes with this unit, you do have to go into the settings. And again, I haven't done this in a while, so bear with me. But you do have to go into the settings and set the right transducer. So here we go. So basically, you go to My Vessel. So I could enter the whole ID, even though I haven't done it. But in here, you would go in here and you would select the transducer type. As you can see, we're using the GT8 HW transducer. Also, real quick, while we're in here, there's other things that you can do. So you can change your units, to read in different units of measurement. You could also set alarms for like your depth finder and things of that nature. There's a lot of really, really cool feature. Look, so even if you do this here, say you anchor down and you hit anchor drag, basically what's going to happen is if the ski starts to drift or if the anchor comes loose, it'll tell you basically that you're dragging away from when you're last anchored. And again, I don't know how this would be useful in a ski, but you never know. Off course means exactly that. So off course literally means that if you have navigated or pointed out a direction that you wanted to go, if you accidentally break away from that location, because you can set target destinations and literally just follow that mapping chart or that mapping line until you get to your destination. But for any reason you go off course, you can turn on an alarm that warns you when you are off course. What I like about this unit is it's not too expensive and it does the trick. I know that there are least expensive versions of the Striker out there. One of the things that I will tell you is I did opt for the 4CV because from everything that I read online, it has the best navigation options compared to the other ones that are clearly just designed primarily for either to be used as a depth finder and a fish finder, not necessarily for navigation options. And then the last thing that I wanted to show you is I want to show you guys how to, if we were navigating to a location, how we would do it. But here, let me see if I can move in a little closer here. All right, that's probably a better angle for you guys. So literally to select your location, what you're going to do is you're going to use this little arrows. And say you wanted to navigate towards right here, right? So basically, literally, you would just point the X to the location where you're navigating. Again, you guys got to use your imagination here and pretend we're on the water. You just hit select. After you hit select, as you can see, you can either create a waypoint or navigate to. Normally, I just hit navigate to. And then you could have route to or go to. So I normally do go to. And as you can see here, if we were on the water, we would know that it is just literally following this trail here. And I could zoom in so I can give you guys a better visual. But think about this, right? Again, use your imagination, pretend this is all water. So now that we selected where we were going, as you can see here, literally when you're out on the water, you can just follow this little line here and get to your desired location. What I love about it is it even gives you an estimated time on when you should be arriving to that location, which I think it's pretty cool. It uses your average speed that you navigate through the water. So anyway, pretty simple, as I mentioned earlier, to use. Once you are done or you get to your location, that's it. You know, you can just abort everything and you are good to go. So Dan, I know that I ran through a lot of these things. I just wanted to show you your basic functions. So if there's anything additional that you want to know about this unit, please feel free to reach out or drop it in the comments below. And for those of you guys that are out there at home right now also watching this video, do me a favor, you know, if there's a how-to or if there's anything that you want to learn, or, you know, be part of the experience. You know, would love to get your feedback. Would love to have you guys, you know, engage and ask, you know, certain questions. I love making videos. So, you know, who knows? Maybe if you ask a question or you have a video request and you drop it in the comments below or you reach out to us, maybe you'll even, you know, maybe we'll even get a chance to create that video for you. So again, thank you all for your love and support. Hope this video was helpful. I'll drop in the description below all the different part numbers for both the Garmin 44CV plus the transducer type that we're using, so you can purchase that separately. The install itself, for those of you guys that are curious, was a breeze. It's literally a positive and negative wire, but as you can see, I did get a little bit creative with that connector. Just makes it easier and cleaner. And then you just got to run the wire from where you're going to mount it to where your power and negative wires are going to be, just how I showed you guys at the beginning of this video. And then you just got to run the other wire, which is your transducer wire, to your mounting location. There's plenty of videos online on how to mount these through-hole transducers so that you get a good result. What I'll do is I'll find some videos, even though they're not our videos, and I'll drop them on the description below. I would show you our mounting, but it's buried underneath the ski, and I don't want to start to remove all these bolts and covers right now, because hopefully we're going to get to ride this weekend. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you on the next video.